Hello everyone, this is the first video to show how to just align the track with the template, which you can borrow for a few days or we can do at one of the working sessions. Just to run through the process, first of all what you're going to need, some solder, ideally just lead solder, a soldering iron, decent soldering iron, maybe some flux can help. The template itself, which you can see in the foreground, and obviously your track laid in or ready to be laid in position, and anything else that you might need, screwdriver or what have you. I've also made a little template which I'll supply with the master template just for like track settings, so you can just make sure the track's straight. Helps a little bit. I made it out of wood, so it probably won't last too long. The problem with metal is that it sucks away the heat, so it may cause problem with the soldering, but it's easy to make another one. Okay, you can see here that the template aligns using the two 10mm holes on the side and a pair of 10mm bolts. Actually, when we come to bolt this together, we'll use 8mm bolts, which will just give us a couple of mils of play, because it may not be exactly the right height, so we can just adjust it a little bit as we put all these things together. So basically the template slides on in obviously the right way around, depending which end of the board you're using, and then just use the two hand nuts to just tighten it up hand tight. Okay, so here you can see the template installed with the tightening bolts, and I've just placed a couple of track aligners that you've got supplied here to just show their position. What we'll need to do first is to drill two fairly decent holes, probably 4mm, because you're going to have to wire the track power in through the two little holes that you can see just there on each side of the track aligner. And if you just drill a very tiny hole, you just won't be able to find it. It's quite hard to get it aligned exactly, so the best bet is to drill something slightly oversized so you can see what you're doing. And we'll obviously do that after the event. Those holes are, by the way, are plated through, so do not use screws in those holes. You'll see the two screw holes. They probably need widening slightly. They're quite tiny holes, depends on the size screws you've got. Okay, I've just used a marker pen to mark the position of the holes, and then I drilled it with a small drill first. Otherwise, you just hit it with a big drill, you can go out center. And then I widened it with a 4mm drill. As you can see, the cork doesn't drill particularly well, so just make sure that's cleaned up a little bit after, so you can see what you're doing. Another thing you can do is to pre-wire the aligner. So you solder the wires onto the aligner first and then run them back through the holes. That's great. I would still drill the bigger holes, because if they come, the soldering joint breaks or there's a problem, you need to be able to get back to it and resolder them. So just bear that in mind. Okay, here you can see the piece of track. What you need to do is to do several things. First of all, remove the first three sleepers, and then make sure the ends of the track are aligned. Just push the track back, just use a bit of wood or something to make sure they're both square, and that if you cut them, the joint is good. You just use a file to make sure it's clean, and just check it against the aligner like that. Okay, here you can see a couple of dropper wires, how they fit through. When you tin the copper, you need to strip them and lightly tin them, and you need to be careful when tinning. You don't put the solder on too thick, otherwise it won't go through the holes, and you don't want to start messing about trying to widen the holes, because that will ruin the through plating. So that's what you should land up with, just a little bit protruding like that. And what we're now going to do is solder those on, and then they'll be ready to just run straight in. And obviously you can, once you solder them, you can just trim them off. Take your time with this, make sure the connections are good. You can always use a testing light circuit, like a light or something like LED, just to test the circuit's okay before you start to commit to the board. Notice that the black wire is to the outside of each track and the red to the inside. And that's the protocol we're going to stick with throughout the project. Okay, there you go. What you should land up with is a little kind of hill of solder on each end, and just really check the integrity of those wires. Make sure they're in good and solid before you trim them off. You need to trim them off so they're not sticking out into the track. There they are, and trimmed and inserted into the two holes. What we're now going to do is just to make sure that all aligns up with the template, and then just prepare our track. Several things, well, and the actual aligner. Several things you need to do. Make sure you clean really well under the track where you've removed the sleepers, perhaps even a little file, and then a clean with perhaps some alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and or a fiberglass brush, and also clean the gold contacts on the aligner with a fiberglass brush as well, just to make sure we get a really good joint. Thank you. Okay, and that's what it looks like when it's in position, ready to solder the track on. Okay, once you've cleaned everything and you've got them ready, then position the track, position the template, the aligner into the template so they meet and join together with the little wavy lines. Don't do it a bit closer. No, there you go. Okay, that's about as close as I can get. That shows you how it goes. You can then sort of screw down the track or pin it down, making sure that both rails are aligned with just a little gap in between the rail on the template. I do not want you to solder the track onto the template track, so be very careful when you do that. I'm going to use the track template and a little bit of wood just to make sure that the actual rail is pressed down firmly against the aligner. Obviously, if you try and do that by hand, you're going to burn yourself. Just get yourself organized and just run the solder across. Do one at a time. Maybe start the far end away from the template, let it cool and make sure it's is a good joint, and then you can just run it along afterwards. Just as I said, take your time with it. It's important to get this fit right. Okay, there you have it. I've used very little solder actually, but it seems to be really solid. And then what you can do is just run a truck wagon along it just to make sure that it's all good and there's no bits lumps of solder in the way. And then you can go on with the next one. It's important to be relaxed and just take your time with it, not try and rush it. But if you've got any doubts, then we'll plenty of help at hand at one of the sessions we're going to organise, or maybe we'll organise something on a Thursday night. Okay, thank you.